Before I ever saw it, Mount Fuji was only an idea in my mind. Have you ever imagined a place so often that when you finally arrive, it feels like remembering? Cherry blossoms bend low over the lake, their petals drifting as if to guide your eyes toward the peak. They spoke of a perfect cone rising 12,389 feet from the earth, temples and quiet villages resting under its gaze. One morning, I stood on a path where a curved pavilion framed the horizon, each wooden beam placed with care. Beyond it, the mountains simply existed. No drama, no movement, only presence. The lake mirrored everything so perfectly, it felt like two worlds, one above, one below, holding each other still. Snow caught the light along every ridge, as if the mountain had been carved from silence itself. This was never about reaching the summit, nor chasing a photograph. It was about standing still, long enough to feel the mountain breathe. On the other side of the world, another giant keeps watch. Seattle's skyline climbs in steel and glass, but if you look past the city's shine, there it is, Mount Rainier, rising 14,411 feet into the sky. Have you ever seen a city with a mountain right behind it? It's like two worlds in one frame, one restless with lights and noise, the other still, buried in snow and years. From above, the glaciers look like they're flowing, caught mid-movement, stretching down into dark green forests. Up close, the mountain stops, looking perfect. Rock cuts through snow, as if the two have been wrestling for years. Sometimes, walls of ice rise without warning, the light inside a deep blue, as if the mountain is holding its breath. Do you ever wonder what it has seen? How many winters it's outlasted? From high on the slopes, Rainier belongs to itself, cold, wide, and unhurried. Clouds wander across its face, almost checking if it's still there. The summit waits. Maybe that's the pull of places like this. They remind us, time can move differently. Standing there, I felt small, but steady too. Europe's highest point is nothing like the sharp peaks drawn in storybooks. Mount Elbrus rises 18,510 feet from meadows that roll out in green and gold waves, topping itself with twin domes of snow. From some angles, it looks like a sleeping giant wrapped in blue-white blankets. The lower slopes hold long shadows. Above them, the summit reflects a world rarely touched by people. Closer, you see breaks in its memory, crevasses through the ice, dark seams of rock. At base camp, a few tents scatter at the edge of enormous quiet. When the wind calms, you hear your own breath and the flap of canvas. It makes you wonder about the line between belonging and trespassing. Outcrops pierce the snow like thoughts refusing to be buried. Walking here, you find questions that only silence reveals. What draws us to places that hardly notice us? How do we leave a mark on something that will outlast us? The mountain offers no answer, but the stillness feels like one. If these moments speak to you, subscribe. and let's keep exploring together. Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa. Out on the African savanna, the tallest peak almost hides in plain sight. Giraffes drift through dry grasses, reaching for acacia leaves, and far beyond them, Mount Kilimanjaro rises 19,341 feet into the sky, like a cloud that decided to stay. Its summit wears a scatter of snow, streaked with dark volcanic rock. Clouds pass slowly, as if they're unsure whether to stay or go. From far away, the top feels like a painting hung too high to touch. Closer, you see tough little bushes clinging to the dark folds of its slopes. It doesn't leap upward. It simply rises until it has nothing left to prove. You stand there and listen. Not for a voice, but for the wind, the tread of hooves, and your own steady heartbeat. Somehow, that's enough. Denali, North America. The Chulitna River freezes in winter, cracking like veins across pale land. Beyond its icy path, Denali rises 20,310 feet into the sky. At first, it's a faint outline through the haze. Then it appears, behind the vast Ruth Glacier, spilling outward like a waterfall made of ice. From above, the river winds through forest and snow, while Denali sits at the far edge of the frame, like a memory returning. Sharp ridges drop into untouched valleys, shadows mark where avalanches once fell. You find yourself holding your breath in front of something so still, so vast. It feels like the mountain is older than language, a silence full of meaning. And when you finally see the summit, it doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like coming home to something you've always carried inside you. Aconcagua, South America. The Andes spread out like a puzzle of stone and color. In a narrow pass, the walls rise steep on both sides, the rock shifting from ochre to violet. You can see the layers, each one laid down long before we ever arrived. Far below, a thin trail winds through the ravine. Further on, a glacier spills across bare slopes, its edges tinted blue against the red soil. It holds the weight of winter, even as the sun works to take it apart. The cliffs look worn and uneven, shaped slowly by meltwater and time. Snow clings to the ledges in thin traces, as if not ready to let go. Small streams slip through the gullies, finding paths carved by countless freezes and thaws. From here, the view opens wide. Ridges run in every direction. Far away, Aconcagua rises 22,837 feet into the light, the highest in the Andes. Up close, it feels less like a challenge and more like an old guide. It doesn't try to impress. It simply stands, immense and present. And maybe that quiet persistence is the heart of its beauty. Mount Everest, Asia. In the Khumbu Valley, homes cluster against slopes the color of old copper. Stone walls and prayer flags mark Shomare, a village that feels like an exhale in the thin air. Beyond it, Everest rises 29,032 feet above sea level, less a boast than a quiet statement of what's possible. When you look up from the fields, its ridges cut clean into the sky. Snow catches the light, and shadows fall in patterns you've only ever seen in photographs. One morning, I saw a lone climber on a nearby ridge, dwarfed by the mountain behind him. It wasn't a victory pose, it was reverence, a small figure acknowledging a vast presence. Flying through this amphitheater of peaks, you begin to understand why people come here, even if they never intend to stand on the summit. There's humility in being close to something so large and ancient. Everest doesn't dominate the scene, it anchors it. Around it, valleys carve deep and quiet through stone, shaped by rivers of ice and air. And as I left, I carried with me the way the light played on prayer flags, the smell of yak butter candles, the feeling of being both small and completely alive. Until our next mountain, may your own journey lead you upward and bring you peace. This is World Adventure OS, the operating system for global wonder. Like what you saw? Give it a like. And to keep traveling with us, subscribe and turn on alerts.